suppose it's time we did this then. Leicester relegated. And it's an absolute disgrace. It really is. And there's not many other words I can use to describe it. Like that's it. You know, the last 9 years have been an incredible roller coaster for numerous reasons, and yeah, it's to have it come to an end like this is ridiculous, really. So just list off this, so and just to see how significant the drop off has been. But 14th, 1st, 12th, 9th, 9th, 5th, 5th, 8th, 18th. 10 places, 10 teams, including the 3 newly promoted sides, caught up with us in one summer. One. It's not good enough, and it's an example of complete financial and footballing mismanagement, and heads need to roll for it. I tweeted earlier that it had been 15 hours and we'd had zero communication from the club whatsoever. And then Top's put out a statement where he said how disappointed he is, that he's fully committed to the journey and all that, and it's fair enough, but show your commitment now, okay? Not just writing off debts that maybe make Leicester more of a sellable asset. Like, show your commitment. Gut out all the people that are responsible for this mess, starting with number 1, John Rudkin, director of football. How is he a director of football at a Premier League club? How has he been for so long? Anybody that says that we're only turning on him now because we've gone down, it's rubbish. We've wanted him out for a long time, but you can't. It was kind of difficult to justify that when we were delivering success. But he's never been capable of his job. And he's one of the main reasons that Brendan Rodgers was left for as long as possible. He was the one that singled him out to bring him in at Celtic. He was the one that handed the keys to Brendan Rodgers to change things so much from the system that we had and the way that things were running. He was the one that gave Rodgers more power. As director of football, he literally had the office next door to him at the training ground. That's not a professional relationship. That's a personal relationship. And you can't cross the two together. Because this is what happens when you cross the two together. You need to stay ruthless. You need to maintain that professionalism that has got us to where we are and delivered us the success, but also the ruthlessness. And he doesn't have that. He's never had that. He never had the ruthlessness to get a lot of the deals that we need to get done over the line. He also oversaw the fact that after we won the Premier League title, we had a shocking transfer window. He oversaw the Adrian Silva debacle. We sold Danny Drinkwater and then didn't sign him 14 seconds later, and he missed out on months of his career, and we missed out on what could have been a decent player. And I can't. And this is where we start to run off the list of all the people that could be responsible. John Rudkin is number 1. He has to go. He has to go. There's no 2 ways about it for me as a fan. Like, I will not be satisfied. No matter what happens next season, I will not be satisfied until he's gone. That's a fact. Me personally, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of Leicester fans, I will not be fully satisfied until he's gone. Should not be anywhere near Leicester City Football Club anymore. Fact, number 1. Second one's Brendan Rodgers. And do you know what? I feel aggrieved that Brendan Rodgers does not have a relegation on his CV, because if you look at there are individual games that he managed. Okay, granted, we had 8 games after he left, and things could have changed, and lots of people will say, "Oh, well, he could have kept you up," but he wouldn't have them. Okay, and I can take you back to the very first game of the season, the very first 2-0 up against Brentford, who came back into the game. It was like 30 degrees. It was a really warm day. He made 1 sub. Brentford made 5. They completely overhauled their midfield in an attempt to send a message to the board to be like, I need better players. I need you to invest in the squad. And guess what? We dropped 2 points. We went from winning that game comfortably. We'd played Brentford off the park. The game changed with the freshness, the energy that those substitutes brought in. And those 2 points would have kept us up. Those 2 extra points in that first game. And I could run off a list of games. It's not that one game. No one game decides a 38-game season. I could run off a list of games, but I ain't got time to do it, okay? This is added time, okay? I can't go on to a full monologue. I'm sure I will at some point, but this is going to be me trying to be concise, and it's difficult to be concise because there's so many people at fault for this. But yeah, Rodgers has a massive hand in this as well. Susan Whelan, CEO. The rumour now is coming out that her and Rudkin haven't been on speaking terms for ages. I'm sorry, but if your chief executive officer is not on good terms with a member of the board, why is that? Why has this person not been moved on? Why has this person not been replaced? You need to step up to the plate and do your job. Otherwise, you can think about going as well. If you can't do the job, you can't be ruthless enough for this football club to survive. Maybe you shouldn't be here either. Top, the chairman, okay, Kun Top. If he doesn't remove people like Rudkin, if he doesn't make those wholesale changes that need to be made and re-establish that really ruthless side of him and that his father had that he's been lacking a lot, then maybe it's time for him to move on. Okay, he's still got a significant amount of good faith with me and with probably a lot of fans, but if he doesn't make those significant changes over the summer, that will go quickly as well. The fans have also been complicit in this. We should have turned sour a long, long time ago, but people accepted the Brendan Rodgers thing. We also had that mentality of, well, we've been to League One, we were in League One 15 years ago. It's like, who cares? We won the FA Cup 2 years ago. We came 8th and we were in the European semi-final 1 year ago. This isn't good enough. And there were fans clapping them off the pitch yesterday. Clapping them off the pitch. What are you clapping? What is there to applaud? Oh, well done. You've turned up for one game when the pressure's off because Everton just need to win. What's that going to do? All right. We should have turned a long time ago. If we had, Rodgers would have been sacked previously, and we might have been able to attract one of those better managers who went to Villa in Emery or Wolves. When Emery took over at Villa, we were above them in the table. I think we had the same number of points, but it was 1 point or same number of points. I can't remember exactly, but everyone said that Villa were awful. And he made one signing, he signed Alex Moreno, and now they're in European football. You are complicit the same as everyone else. I said in the summer, I go back to the one of the very first podcasts we did on Goal in One rather than talking Ballocks. I was sat with Stephen Lawrence and I said that I wasn't happy with Brendan Rodgers. Right then, he should have gone a long time ago. So us as fans supporting that, cheering that on, we're also complicit in that. Players are also complicit in that. So many of them down tools. Lots of them haven't been performing. Lots of them had their eyes on other moves. And we're about to lose, I think it's 8 players or 7 players out of contract. There are loads of players that I know I have it on good authority from a player within the setup that loads of them already had their contract offers sorted for other clubs before the season was even over. And that was proven with Johnny Evans yesterday, coming out in his interview saying, we're all in the change room saying goodbye to each other. I'm sorry, have you got no gravity for the respect? Where's your professional pride? Where is it? Rather than feeling really sad and downtrodden that you've just relegated a great Premier League club that we have been for the past 7-8 years, you've relegated that club. You have, okay? You're the ones that are on the pitch doing the job. All the other things are superfluous and they contribute over a long period of time. But you are the ones on the pitch doing the job and you've relegated the club. Right? Because you didn't turn up in... How many games did we lose this season? 22? 23? A lot. Enough to go down. And he's supposed to be the club captain. He replaced Kasper Schmeichel. He replaced Kasper Schmeichel. Great player, Johnny Evans. Fantastic servant for the club over his 5 years. But he's not a captain. He can't be. He's been invisible all season. He's been on the injury table. And I know he comes out saying that after the game. Just keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. That's not enough. That's not good enough. There's only 3 players for me that come out with any real positives after this season. And probably even since Dean Smith came in, because all of them haven't been good enough over the year. That's why we've gone down. But Dan Everson, how many games could have turned on a big save from him? I mean, he's not amazing. I'm not going to say he's fantastic, but he's better than Danny Ward. And he's one of them. He's a goalkeeper that would have probably saved us an extra maybe 4 or 5 points over the course of the season compared to Ward. And that keeps us up as well. So Dan Everson has to be given some credit, and he will be a fantastic number 1 in the Championship next season. I've got no doubt about that. Harry Souttar, we still lost a lot of games, and I think he will be a good player in the Championship next season. I think he earned his move to the Premier League. I don't think he did anything wrong, really, before being dropped by Smith. I don't know why Smith did drop him, but I don't think he did anything wrong. against Newcastle, he was probably one of the best players on the pitch for us. And we weren't very good, but he was probably one of the better ones. So, and Dewsbury Hall. I mean, I was listening to Owen Palmer-Atkin, who gave the statistic that shows that Dewsbury Hall is quality, and that is that every game we've won this season, he started him, apart from one when he came on at half-time and we ended up winning the game. We turned it around with him on the pitch. So, and he's a local lad. Got more heart in him than players like Harvey Barnes and them, who are supposed to be local lads as well. And I'd make him my captain for next year. There's only those three, really. And we need a massive overhaul of the squad. I've got a list here of the players that. So I've said Ward, Soyuncu, Bertrand, Evans, Amati, Pereira, Vestergaard, Castagna, even Fass, Barnes, Tielemans, Maddison, and Ndidi, Samare, Pratt, Mendy, Vardy, Kell. I'd hate to see Kell go, to be fair, but he's good enough for the Premier League and Europe. And Tete, I wouldn't be resuming that either. But all of those players either should go, will go, or have to go. And a new manager, Dean Smith, got to give him credit for coming in and doing what was a thankless task. But he's not the answer. Somebody else, somebody younger with a bit more of a vision. And I feel bad for Nigel Pearson in this, because and Vichai and Kun Vichai, because the culture they built, the ethos that they built at the football club, the success that they laid the foundations for at this football club, the culture, the camaraderie, the support from the fans, the unification of the fan base, it's gone, it's dead. There was a lot of blue on blue in the stadium yesterday and outside the stadium, and rightfully so. Clapping the team off after they've been relegated don't make you a better fan. Makes you naive, makes you complicit. You can still be a fan and criticise. We're the ones that pay the money. We're the ones that work hard all week and pay our money, spend our money on that football club. We're allowed to voice our opinions, and when they've not done the bare minimum for the whole season, we're allowed to voice that. Anyone that tells you otherwise, just accept mediocrity in all walks of life. Why not? You know? And after what we've achieved over the last few years, this football club is better than that now. No, we don't have a God-given right to be in the Premier League. I'm not going to sit here and say we do. Of course we don't. But that squad of players, even those players there that I've just listed off who are leaving, yeah, they might not be top 10. They ain't relegation. I could name five clubs, 5 first 11s that stayed up this season that are worse than that. Everton being one. Bournemouth being another. And that's no disrespect to these clubs and these players, because they fought tooth and nail to stay in the league. We didn't. And that's why we are where we are. It's a 38-game season. Where you finish after 38 games, there is no flukes in a season. There's no flukes in a domestic season. You might fluke a cup because you might get lucky in a draw. You might fluke, I don't know, a Champions League or a World Cup even, because you might get easy draws going through. League season, you don't fluke. It's a 38-game season. You play everyone twice. Where you finish, the position you finish, is where you deserve to finish. And that's that. Leicester City are back where some people might say they belong. But I refuse to believe it. We are in the top 20 most decorated football clubs in the country. We have one of the best Premier League strikers of all time. We're one of the best Premier League goalkeepers of all time. And we have arguably the greatest footballing story of all time. But it's come to an end in embarrassing circumstances. And it is a disgrace. And if people are not held accountable, the right people are not held accountable. Because people don't realise how much this club means to this city. It's a one-club city. If you're from Leicester, if you live in Leicester, Leicestershire is slightly different because there's all manner of things. But most people in Leicestershire support Leicester. In Leicester, you support Leicester. Everything. Football, rugby, cricket, basketball, everything. And it's those people that earn their bread and butter from the football club. It's those people who, you know, the kitmen, the people working in hospitality, the people who are working in the community, the people who work at the training ground. All those people are going to lose their jobs to save money, to save the coffers. And those who deserve it, those ones who deserve the punishment, will be rewarded. A lot of those players will get big moves and they'll have good careers. I don't doubt that at all. Rudkin has probably been paid handsomely for doing an awful, appalling job for the last few years. But here we are, in the Championship. Are there any silver linings? I don't know. People saying, oh, Championship's got better away games. I don't know. I don't think so. Stadium-wise, not really. Not for me. Trying to think of a good one. Portman Road, classic stadium, I suppose. Hillsborough if they go up, but that away end's a bit dated now. I don't know. QPR, Loftus Road, as long as you don't get that seat with the dodgy view. No, I can't think of many. Because we've got to do a massive overhaul of the squad. And those people upstairs, a lot of those people who have said are complicit in this, they're some of the reasons we're going down. Do I trust them to rebuild this club properly? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the new shirt was nice, Didn't even know they were going to play with it. Now they released that halfway through the game, so yeah, it's a joke, really, isn't it? But looking forward to playing in Singapore about 4 days before the championship season kicks off on the Friday night, which we'll inevitably play in, probably against Plymouth or someone like Plymouth away. That'll be good, won't it? But I'll be there. I'll be spending my money. I'll be watching them in the Championship next season, as I have for the last 20 years. Oh well. I've been Jack. You've been listening to Added Time with Talking Ballocks. And yeah, until next time.